Hey viewers, you're watching The Savera and I'm Vidhi Joshi. Tensions between US President Donald Trump and Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney escalated sharply after Ottawa reportedly refused to participate in Donald Trump's Board of Peace. And Carney criticized the use of economic integration and tariffs as coercive tools by powerful nations at the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland. Well, the dispute peaked when Donald Trump withdrew the invitation extended to Carney to join the board, initially intended to oversee the rebuilding of war-torn Gaza. While Carney had accepted the invitation, in principle, a Canadian government source confirmed that Canada would not pay to join, prompting Donald Trump to revoke the offer on Thursday. Well, the disagreement intensified after Mark Carney's speech in Davos, which drew sharp criticism from Donald Trump. The US president warned Carney that Canada lives because of the United States, a statement that the Canadian leader firmly rejected. On X, Carney asserted that Canada's independence while acknowledging the close partnership between the two nations, writing, "Canada and the United States have built a remarkable partnership and in the economy, in security and in rich cultural exchange. But Canada doesn't live because of the United States. Canada thrives because we are Canadian." In his address, Mark Carney criticized the current global order, arguing that the so-called rules-based international system no longer functions as advertised. He described it as a period in which the most powerful nations pursue their interest through economic coercion. Mark Carney warned that if great powers abandon even the pretense of rules and values, the gains of transactionalism will become harder to replicate. He urged middle powers like Canada to act collectively, stating that if we are not at the table, we are on the menu. He emphasized that while great powers can dictate terms due to market size and military leverage, middle powers must navigate a more complex reality. Mark Carney also condemned US tariffs over Greenland, reaffirming Canada's support for Denmark's sovereignty and calling for dialogue in order to achieve shared Arctic objectives. He cautioned that tariffs, financial systems, and supply chains were increasingly being weaponized and described a harsh global environment in which major powers operate with few constraints. While acknowledging the historical benefits of US-led international framework, including collective security and financial stability, Mark Carney argued that this system was eroding. Following Mark Carney's remarks, Donald Trump publicly withdrew Canada's invitation to the Board of Peace. On Truth Social, he wrote, "Please let this letter serve to represent that the Board of Peace is withdrawing its invitation to you regarding Canada's joining what will be the most prestigious board of leaders ever assembled at any time," and earlier he had criticized Canada for being insufficiently grateful for US support and warned Carney to remember this in the future. Carney responded by emphasizing that Canada's sovereignty and resilience. He noted that while Canada cannot solve all the world's problems, it can demonstrate that an alternative path is possible, one resisting authoritarianism and exclusion. In his full WEF address, Carney received a standing ovation for his critique of the rupture in the US-led rules-based international order, arguing that trade rules and international laws are often applied asymmetrically, benefiting the strongest. He stressed that middle powers must adapt proactively rather than retreat behind barriers, and that Canada will maintain a robust role in global affairs, including boosting defense spending in order to secure its sovereignty and borders. Well, Donald Trump had originally proposed the Board of Peace in September in order to oversee ceasefire, demilitarization, and reconstruction in Gaza, and later expanding its mandate in order to address conflicts worldwide in cooperation with the United Nations. And despite the international ambition, the dispute with Canada underscores growing strains in US-Canada relations, highlighting Mark Carney's insistence on defending national autonomy in an increasingly fractured global landscape. That's all for now. Stay tuned to The Savera for more updates. Do like, comment, and subscribe to the channel.